Now, in terms of filtering, we said that if we know the structure, right? If we know the structure of our data frame, what we can then start doing by way of filtering is identify the field on which we want to do our select or our filtering. The obvious one here would be, if we look at the head here, would be, and I know this data set because I created it, so I'd say the obvious one would be, I'm trying to see here. It's a minor, right? Or campus accommodation. I think I used campus accommodation in my example in class, if you remember. So he said, in terms of campus accommodation, for us to gain a sense of what sort of values are held by this, we get that sliced, a series, and we see that it's a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. These are binary values. So if this is the case, we can specify to say we are interested in just seeing entries or records that have the value yes, right? So we are creating a condition. And when we create a condition, what you notice is that the result we are getting are Boolean values, true or false. And because these are Boolean values, true or false, we can then filter on our data frame, right? So we'll go back to our data frame. I don't want to waste time here. We use this as a condition, right? In our data frame. And what we've done now is, instead of our 273 observations, we are now selecting the 93 that are associated with students that have accommodation, or students that are accommodated or something. Now, the question I was asking you is, and I think this was homework, right? I was saying, well, what if in an instance where we want to use multiple conditions, right? Where the usual and or something or not, right? Bitwise operators. I said, in Python pandas, what you're interested in doing when you're applying this sort of condition is you're doing a row-wise comparison. You want to compare things row by row. And so what you do is you have got to make sure that you use these operators, and or. If you use the actual, and or, it won't work. You understand? So in this particular case, let's say, again, going back to our structure here, maybe we want to check, I'm trying to see here. How about final exam? That's a good one. Let's look at what we have for final examination. And we want to see, out of the 273 observations, how many of these observations passed, right? Right? If you notice, how many of them passed? This condition, right, is showing us, if you look at the results here, it's like the observation at index 0 here passed. Observation at index 1 passed, right? Index 3, well, index 0 passed, index 1 passed, index 3, 0, 1, index 2 failed, right? Because it's a false or something. For us to get the actual records, what do? We do the same thing we're doing here. And we see that these are the students who actually passed, right? Got, I don't know if it's supposed to be greater or equal to here, like that. If this is making sense, I don't know, right? Now the question here is, how do we combine this? It's saying, for us to combine this condition with what we had earlier, we have got to use a bitwise operator, right? This is what we're expecting you to tell us. Boom. Right, so we have 55. Is this fine?